The cost of college is out of control. Every year, tuition skyrockets and students are being forced to take on massive debt just to get a degree. Right now, there's $1.7 trillion in student debt in the US. That's more than the GDP of most countries. But this doesn't have to be you. If you make the right decisions, you'll still be able to attend the college of your dreams and get the education you deserve without digging yourself into a massive hole of debt. I've been there myself. I had to take out tens of thousands of dollars of student loans. And looking back, I could have avoided a lot of that debt if I'd known what I'm about to share with you. In this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know about paying for college. We'll go over understanding the cost of college, how to get the most out of financial aid, including everything you need to know about FAFSA, federal versus private student loans, and what you need to watch out for, and strategies to lower your overall costs. By the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge to pay for college responsibly and avoid the mistakes that lead to massive debt. Today, I'm at New York University, one of the most expensive schools in the United States. NYU's tuition is around $60,000 per year, but when you factor in housing, fees, and personal expenses, the total cost of attendance can reach nearly $90,000 annually. Over 4 years, that adds up to roughly $360,000. Across the US, private colleges average about $43,000 a year, and public schools charge closer to $10,000 a year for in-state students. These costs make it crucial to understand how every dollar is spent. As you can tell, students are paying a lot to go to school, and it's not just tuition. In fact, college expenses typically fall into 5 main categories. Tuition and fees. Tuition covers the cost of your classes, professors, and academic resources. While more prestigious schools often charge higher tuition, that doesn't always mean a better education. In addition to tuition, you'll also pay fees that cover things like campus facilities, like the gym, events, and other free services offered by the school. They're not free, you already paid for them. Housing. This is typically the second largest expense after tuition, and it can vary a lot. Whether you're living in a dorm, in an on-campus apartment, or commuting from home, whichever option you choose can drastically affect how much you pay. I lived with 4 other dudes in college. It was kind of crazy, but I saved a lot of money. Books and supplies. Textbooks are expensive for arguably no reason. It can honestly feel like a scam. $200 for a book you'll use for 1 semester feels outrageous, especially when I have Google and ChatGPT for free $99. Personal expenses. These can sneak up on you too. From groceries to laundry to your boba addiction. Because you're no longer living at home, you'll need to budget for all the little things that your parents used to take care of. Transportation. Whether you're commuting or flying back for breaks, unless you plan to walk everywhere, don't forget to factor in the cost of travel. Now that we've broken down the basic costs, let's talk about how you can get help paying for them, starting with financial aid and scholarships. First things first, don't forget to file your FAFSA as early as possible. Filing early increases your chances of getting the best financial aid package, since some aid is awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. But beyond FAFSA, did you know there are scholarships and grants for nearly everything? From your major to your hobbies, you can find niche scholarships that a lot of people overlook. Millions of dollars in scholarships go unclaimed every year, so apply to as many as you can. FAFSA is the key to unlocking most forms of financial aid. It's a form you fill out each year to determine how much aid you're eligible for, including grants, scholarships, work-study, and federal student loans. Your eligibility is based on your family's income and financial situation. Here's how it works. You fill out the FAFSA form online, make sure to have your tax returns and financial information ready. The government calculates your expected family contribution, or EFC, which is how much they think you and your family can reasonably afford to pay. Based on your EFC, schools will offer you different types of aid packages. Once you receive your aid package, it likely won't cover everything and you'll need to figure out how to fill in the gaps. So here's how. First are grants and scholarships, which are the best kinds of aid because they don't have to be paid back. Apply for as many scholarships as you can. You'd be surprised. Many random scholarships don't get many applicants, so your chances could be better than you think. Second are work-study programs, which allow you to earn money while you're in school by working part-time, often on campus with hours designed to fit your class schedule. And third, merit-based aid, which is awarded based on academic or extracurricular performance. If you have a high GPA, leadership experience, or a strong background in community service, you could qualify for additional aid. Now that you know what's available through financial aid, let's dive deeper into loans. Nationally, about 70% of college students graduate with student loan debt, and the average borrower owes nearly $37,000. Even more concerning, around 10% of borrowers end up defaulting on their loans within the first 2 years of repayment. With debt levels this high, it's critical to understand how to choose the right loans and repayment plans to avoid falling into financial trouble. If grants, scholarships, and work study don't cover everything, you might need to borrow money. But not all loans are created equal, and choosing the right one is very important. First up are federal loans. These loans are backed by the government, which means they come with protection. You'll get a fixed interest rate, meaning the interest you pay won't change over time. They also offer flexible repayment options, so if you're having trouble paying back the loan after graduation, you may be able to defer your payments or switch to an income-driven repayment plan that adjusts based on how much you're earning. Plus, with federal loans, you usually get a grace period after you graduate, meaning you don't have to start paying them back right away. On the other hand, private loans are offered by banks or other lenders. These can be trickier. Whenever you see horror stories online from people who've been paying off their loans for years, but the loan keeps getting bigger and bigger, it's usually because they got a terrible private loan. Private loans often come with variable interest rates, which means the amount of interest you owe could increase over time. So make sure you understand the terms. Private loans also have fewer repayment options, and they tend to be riskier if you don't have a strong credit history. Private loans start accruing interest as soon as you take them out, which means the longer you take to pay them off, the more you'll owe. Pro tip, a better credit score generally means a lower interest rate for private loans. For example, if you borrow $37,000, which is about the average amount of student loan debt in the US, and pay it off over 10 years, depending on your credit score, there will be a huge difference in how much you end up paying. Say you have a good credit score and get an interest rate of 6.24%. After 10 years, you'll pay a total of $49,830. But with a poor credit score and a 10.46% interest rate, you'll pay $59,812. That's almost $10,000 more, just because of your credit score. And if you're thinking, wait, I don't even have a credit card, don't worry. STEP can help you build credit before you even turn 18. In fact, people who start their credit journey with STEP have an average credit score of 721, which is 125 points higher than the national average. Most college students are broke. I sure was. I had to get creative, from rationing dining hall swipes and selling things on Facebook Marketplace, to taking extra classes to graduate early and save on tuition. College is expensive no matter where you go. But with the right strategies, like picking the right school, finding affordable housing, and cutting everyday expenses, you can really bring down your costs. Let's dive into how you can make it work. Where you go to school can have a massive impact on how much you pay. Another option is to start at a community college, with the average yearly tuition being less than $4,000. By completing your general education courses at a community college, you can save a significant amount of money. And once you transfer to a four-year school, you'll still earn the same degree, but at a much lower overall cost. And trust me, no one knows or cares if you went to a community college first. Just make sure the credits you're taking will transfer to your target four-year school. Pro tip, you can save even more by passing AP tests or by taking courses at your community college during the summers, earning college credits before you even set foot on campus. I came into my first year of college with enough units to graduate a semester early. Next is housing. The average student spends about $12,000 a year on housing, but this can range significantly based on which option you choose. Dorms and on-campus housing are usually the most expensive options. Living off campus and finding roommates will be cheaper. And finally, if you choose a local school, living at home with your family will obviously be the cheapest. Next are textbooks that are notorious for being expensive. On average, students spend between $600 and $1,200 per year on books and supplies. You can cut costs by buying used, renting from websites like Chegg or Amazon, or even sharing with your classmates. Digital versions are usually cheaper, and sometimes your school's library may have copies you can borrow. Do whatever you can to never pay full price for a textbook, because once the semester is over, you'll never touch it again. Trust me. Next are personal expenses. Students typically spend around $2,000 to $4,000 per year. But this really depends on your lifestyle. To save money, limit how much you eat out, create a budget, and take advantage of all the free resources your school offers. Many colleges give away tons of free stuff, from event tickets to food, gym memberships, printing services, and much more. You'd be surprised. And don't forget about student discounts offered by many companies. Websites like Unidays and Student Beans can help you find great deals. And finally, transportation. This will obviously depend on where you live. Transportation costs for students usually range from $1,000 to $2,500 per year. Living on or near campus allows you to walk or bike to class, cutting out all the costs of owning a car. Some schools even offer discounted or free transit passes, so be sure to check that out. We've covered a lot, but the main takeaway is this: paying for college doesn't have to leave you buried in debt. With these tips, you'll avoid the mistakes that leave so many others overwhelmed by student loans. By making smart choices now, you can focus on your education without worrying about the financial burden that follows you for years. If this video helped, share it with your friends, your mom, your dog, and hit subscribe.